Hello guys and girls, what I'm about to explain to you has the potential to give you so much dividends and to make you very rich, but not rich in the materialistic sense, rich in the spiritual sense. I saw a statistic the other day. One second, let me find it. So in the United States alone, 22 million of those people are millionaires, and that's about 7 to 9% of the population. And compared to that, only 3 million people, compared to the 22 millionaires, only 3 million people have visible abs. And, visible abs are a great indicator of fitness, of health. And, guys, I know quite a few very rich people. And one of them that I know is very, very overweight. Okay, so get this. This individual, and no offense to him and his family, but he's very rich, but he doesn't have the privilege to go on a bike ride or to walk up the stairs in a nimble manner. So it's like he's rich. He's rich. And then for what? And then for what? So there's many kinds of rich, and then so there's kind of rich when you're fit, and it's got me thinking, how many people of the population has inner peace, has inner joy, has cultivated that? Very, very little. Very, very little people go on the spiritual path. It's almost none. How many guys and girls do people know that are into this sort of thing, are into the things which I talk about? None. Very little. And when you find people like that, it's very nice. But today, guys, we're talking about how to cultivate this inner joy, how to trick your brain into being happy. And now there are like little hacks out there, and they do work. And the reason why they work is because they mold your personality, and your personality is very important. If you take complete responsibility over your life and where you are, your personality is a big factor. Okay, because a lot of the time we're just on autopilot, and we're being run by old programs. But let's just jump straight into the hacks. Okay, number one is smiling. Now, smiling, there's all these muscles in your brain, and when you smile, it signals to your brain, oh, it's happy time. It's happy time. So I'm like, the other day I was just driving to work. I'm still kind of waking up. I've got like all these passing thoughts and maybe some resentments here and there. And I just force myself to smile. And I do this all day, and it just lifts your mood up, and it makes me feel so magnetic. I was just waiting around doing my work, and like babies just want to look at you, just extra magnetic. And it molds your personality, and our masks that we wear, our ego. Okay, we kind of are that mask. So when we force our mask to be a certain way, when we force it to smile, that mask becomes us. So very, very useful. And this is sort of the idea behind the rest of the hacks and the ideas. So write this down, guys, because it's easy to remember them and to be positive and joyful and motivated for one day. But what really matters is to remember them and to remember to practice them. And this is why consciousness and why being just aware of how you feel, of where you are, of what you're doing is so important, because it will remind you to act how you want to be. So write them down. So, number one, I will be as cheerful as possible. Just simple. Number two, I will try to feel and act a little more friendly towards people. Number three, I'm going to be a little less critical of other people and more tolerant. I will place the best possible interpretations on their actions. Very important. Now, this gets me into another point. Guys, on the spiritual path, forgiveness and humility is so, so important. Because, guys, our natural state is joyful. Our natural state is a quiet inner peace. And the things which take us away from this state, they're like blocks. So our natural state is that, and the problem is things take us away from that. And one of the biggest things which take us away from the state is often other people, is often resentments. And it's not necessarily the other person's fault, but how we respond. And when we can't forgive and when we are resentful, it eats up our mind, it eats up our soul, and it takes away our joy, it takes away our peace. Now, the reason we forgive, and you don't need to like the other person, but you forgive for yourself. You forgive so you could move on and be joyful. And even from a very, very selfish perspective, where you only care about yourself, where you only care about your own well-being, forgiving other people makes the most sense because it's the best for you. And if you extrapolate this philosophy, it also makes like, oh, being a good person, and serving other people makes the most sense, because when I serve other people, I serve myself, because we're all interconnected. When you be when you be a good person, good things come to you. And so, I love this idea of looking at the world, because it's like there's no point in being selfish. There's no point in being a C word and being resentful. Okay, number 4, I'm going to act as if success is inevitable. I am the sort of personality I want to be. I will practice acting like and feeling like this new personality. And yeah, guys, you become what you think about. Simple. Your neural networks in your brain, you get formed. You're constantly forming your personality right now, so be who you want to be. Number 5, I will not let my own opinion color facts in a pessimistic or negative way. And I think this is very, very true, and not to be understated, because a lot of the time, guys, what we think is objective is really just our opinion and our perception. So much of the time, we are just making assumptions. Okay, just being a human being, we're very opinionated. Okay, number 6, I will practice at least smiling 3 times a day. Yep, we went through this. Number 7, regardless of what happens, I will react as calmly as possible and as intelligently as possible. Number 8, I will ignore completely and close my mind to all those pessimistic and negative facts that I can do nothing to change. And again, it's about not allowing the outside world to ruin our inner reservoir. So those are the hacks that you apply to yourself to mold your personality into who you want to be, into a more joyful person. These are very important, but they also can't substitute living a purposeful life and being in a line of self-actualization. Okay? And they also cannot substitute for a lack of self-forgiveness and a lack of self-compassion. And again, because a lot of things that take us away from our joyful expression is just things inside of us that we haven't been able to let go of. And a lot of these comes in the form of traumas, in the form of past hurts. And a big, and what I'd recommend to you guys is to write these things down and to be very self-compassionate towards yourself. And this was like a few years ago, this was like a big revelation for me, is that I realized that the way I was talking to myself, I'll blame myself a lot, but you need to be able to forgive yourself for not knowing what you did not know in the past. And this self-acceptance for whoever you are, for whatever has happened, is a massive step and massive relief. And the best way to really dive into self-acceptance and self-forgiveness, self-compassion, is by journaling. Journaling is massive because it helps you take the stuff in here and put it onto a page. It's almost like you're taking subconscious feelings spinning around, like Beyblades, and you're able to bring them forward into the logical mind, and that way you're able to really see them clearly and analytically, and they're not, and when you think about this certain thing, it doesn't come up as an emotion. It comes up more as a thought. Yeah, so that's really good. That is really, 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 really good. And last thing I'm going to say is to live more in alignment with nature. Guys, in the modern world, we have so much things taking our attention. All of these things are substitutes. The computer, movies, video games. When they're not great works of art, a lot of the time it turns into escapism and a substitute for living a fun and adventurous life. And you know, at the end of the day, it really becomes poison. And you know, we have evolved to be out in nature, amongst people. You know, a lot of us isolate ourselves, and isolation is just terrible, terrible, terrible. We need to be other people. We need to be around friends. Yeah. What do you guys think? Hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe and like the video. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye bye.